It's such a passion for us to make sure that everyone in this world is reached through the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's why this message is in English. Thank you for watching. May you share this video with all your friends and may this word bless you. We're so glad that you are tuned into YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button there below, and then we'll see you every time that there's a message on YouTube. Bless you.
I'm so excited for the word tonight, and it's in English, so once again we're going to have fun. I'll say. Kan ek asseblief met my monitor 'n klein bietjie sagter kry? Ek voel of ek op myself skree. So guys, I want to speak to you tonight about a season. And my whole mission for tonight is when we walk out of this place tonight, may we have a mindset of seasons is good for your life. Because usually when you see a season and it's a storm, you go like this. Not again. I can't do this right now. So my mission tonight is to change your mindset about seasons in your life. And I want to start with a scripture immediately. In 2 Timothy 4 verse 2, preach the word, be ready in season and out of season. And the minute I saw this or read this, immediately it came to me that there will be seasons in our lives. Why? Because it's a God-created thing. God created seasons, and here's how I got to this. If you look at physically the world, there is seasons. There's summer, fall, winter, and spring. Thank you. So there's summer where you die of heat, and you pray for the winter to come, and then the winter comes, and then you pray for the summer to come back. I don't know how that works, but we do that. Like right now, I think about a month ago, I'm happy with this season because I can still walk around with my short pants and my t-shirt, and now I'm like, I don't want this anymore. The Friday morning, I think I got here, I was like, I sit here like this. I froze myself to death. I like summer. But I don't like the heat, so I like winter as well. I don't know why. But in any case, so God created seasons, not just spiritually, but also physically. And I don't know how to say this in English, so I'm going to say it in Afrikaans because I love this quote. Elke lente kort die winter om die bloeisels te waardeer. I heard it in a song of someone, but it's so true that every time we are in a winter season and spring comes, you see a lot of new things in your life. But you have to go through a winter season of things dying so that when the flowers come, you're happy to see them. And you also have to go through a summer season where everything is going good and everything is growing and everything is just perfect and there's being added on and the view are beautiful and there's rain. So that when the winter comes, you can appreciate the rain, because sometimes we don't like the rain. I know Pastor Jan, if there's rain for 3 days, he's not even happy himself. He doesn't like it. If there's no sunshine for 3 days, he doesn't like it. But then you miss the sun. But if you're a lot of times in the sun, you're kind of missing the clouds. So in our lives, there will be seasons. There will be good seasons, bad seasons, and in-between seasons. Now, good season, obviously, is summer. Bad seasons is winter. In between is your spring and fall, for when it's mellow. I don't know. You're just enjoying it, but it's not too lekker, something like that. Now, the main thing for me about seasons is created for the glory of God. Because if your season that you're in, whether it's good, bad, or in between, if your season doesn't glorify God, you're doing your season wrong. You're not where you need to be in your season. And a season is sometimes it can be quick. Sometimes, like in my case, it can be a week. Sometimes it can be 9 months. But if your season doesn't glorify God, there's something wrong. Because we need to see God in everything. You see, if I can trust God in the good season, if I learn to trust God in the bad season, I can trust Him in the good season. We always need to glorify God in our seasons and everywhere we go. Because there's going to be a season sometime in our life that we don't want to go through. Sometimes you just look at that cloud on its way and you're like, no, I'm going to run this way. I'm going up. Sometimes I feel like a Johan. I don't want to do this. I'm not ready for this. But we have to face, every one of us have to face a season in our lives that we don't want to face. And seasons that is bad and is difficult, and like you run away from it. But sometimes that season is the season you need the most in your life. And I know some of you thinking like, hey, who wants a bad season? Sometimes that season really is the best season in your life. And you remember this part because I'm gonna come back to it later on. But in a season, there's 5 things happening. A lot of more, but 5 things tonight I want to take out. In a season, you're going to be bent, you're going to be cut, you're going to be break, you're going to shape, and you're going to build. That's why a season is there. If you're in a summer season, it's still going to be you're still going to have to bend. You're still going to learn. You're still going to build. And even so, in a hard season, there's going to be a few things that needs to happen. Why am I saying this? It's easy. I'm going to use my brain to translate it for you. If you are working with steel, if you get a round bar, it's just a straight 3 or 6 meter round bar. It's just lying there. You can do nothing with it because it's just one straight thing. So it's just there. But for me to use it, it needs to be heated so that it can bend. Sometimes I need to cut it because it needs to be shorter. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to have to build it, break it, bend it, cut it, whatever the case may be, to create something that I need specifically for that thing to do. And that's the same thing in a season, whether it's a good season or a bad season. We are going to be shaped, bend, and break so that we can be a specific shape for a specific job that God needs us to do for Him. That's why every season needs to glorify Him, because you need to be shaped for Him to use you. I hope it makes sense. I just think to myself, I'm fortunate to know someone who owns an exhaust shop. And I've had a few times in my life I had the privilege to stand there and watch what they're doing. It's a 3-meter pipe, and then they take it apart in pieces, and then they put it to the car, specific car, and they bend it the way it needs to fit on that specific car. So it's being built for a specific job. And sometimes we are at a place in our own lives where we build ourselves, we shape ourselves into a certain form that was never made for us to look like, if it's correct. You see, you can't build yourself in a specific shape. That is, you can't put yourself in a specific shape that's not meant for you. You can't force yourself into something that is not yours to be in. You can't go into a storm that is not your storm to be in the first place. Sometimes we have to break our own will. Sometimes we have to break our own desires to get to a place where we need to be. And in this seasons of being built and break, we are being shaped. And as we are being shaped, we are learning to do some things different. And sometimes learning begins, not sometimes, always, you start at the bottom. Because God is teaching us in seasons to walk, then we can run, then we can jump, and then later on we will fly. We are created to fly. We are not created to lie on the ground. But in order for us to get up there, we need to learn to walk first. When we can walk, we can start running. You will fall. I'm not saying when you're on momentum, it will go well. I'm not saying this. But you will learn to fly because God has created us to fly. It makes me think about an eagle. And an eagle has a season in his life. I don't know if you know this. If you do, just act surprised. An eagle lives about 70 to 80 years. And when an eagle gets to a certain age, I think it's 40 years. I'm not sure. When it gets to 30 or 40 years, it has to make a decision because his feathers are too thick to fly and his mouth is too round to hunt. So he needs to make a decision. So he flies up to his nest, and you all know a nest is high. Now he has to make a decision. Is he going to die, literally sit up there and die of hunger? Or is he going to hit his mouth, his whole, is it a snout? Beak, there we go. Against a rock until the whole thing breaks literally off, wait for it to grow back, and then pull out all his feathers, wait for that to grow back, and then he's good to live for another 40 years. Now, think about it. That's a hard season for him to be in, but he needs to break in order to live. he needs to break literally half of his own face to live another 40 years. Or he can die, it's his choice. But here's the interesting fact for me about this whole story is an eagle is an animal. Can't speak. It doesn't have the same mentality as a human. Actually, I think we're smarter than animals because we can do a lot of more. So I'm smarter than an animal. But this animal has a certain pattern, and that's his whole life. He will do this, he will do that, he will die, and that's it. We are serving a God for us to make us grow. So if an eagle can make a decision in a hard season to live, why can't we? Why do we fall to our knees? I don't believe that. I don't think that's right. And this whole story for me, we are being tested in seasons. And when we are being tested, here's the fun part about it. Okay, now let me first tell you a bad part. I have bad news tonight. We all are going to go through tests. That's gonna suck. Okay, that's the bad news. But here's the good news. Your test is an open book test. Here's your answer. Everything you need in your season is in this book. You need to pick it up and read it. You need to pick it up and literally live what's in this word. And when we are being tested till our limits. The same with steel. If you take a piece of steel and you bend it up until a certain point, it will break. But how will you know where's the breaking point if you do not test it up until its limit? And sometimes in the season, we are being tested till our limits for one simple reason, I believe. Because when I cannot do it no more, he who is in me will do it for me. But I need to know my limits first, because if I can go to my limit, which is here, I know that I can reach it there because he will do it through me. But if I can't do my limit, I can't find him as well. I need to know my limits so that I know where to search for him, so that I can know I can run up until there, and I know when I can't go no more, he will do it for me. When we reach our limit, okay, no, I said that already, I'm sorry. You see, humans are limited up until a certain point for only a certain amount of time. There's no limit for me, I believe. Because when I reach my limit, he will teach me to go further. When I reach my limit again, he will teach me to go further. So whatever I do, the more I spend time with him, the more I grow. In my seasons, I will find my limits. He will increase my limits, and I will go further. You see, for some people, the sky is the limit. For others, it's a point of view. The sky is not my limit. The sky is something I gaze upon, because when I get up there, I will see all the stars in heaven. When I get to the next point of that, I will see more, because I know my limit is not the sky. Some people will see the ceiling as that's it. Other people will see it as that's my next stepping stone. And sometimes in a season where it's hard and when it's tough, you feel like that's my limit, and I'm fine. I'm not going to chase it. I know that's my limit, and I'm okay. I'm okay. I can tell you about a few seasons in my life where I thought, this is my limit. I'm done. I will give up. I will rather just. And then there's seasons in my life where I thought, like, if that's the limit, that's a joke. I can do more than that. So I always want you to remember that you have a choice to make in your season. Is the sky your limit, or is it your point of view? A lot of times I like, I don't know, Arnold. He's a bodybuilder. I'm not going to say his surname because I can't. It's not working for me. But that guy has a really important saying in his life that I love, and I've made it one of my own. He always say in all his videos, if you're looking at his motivational videos, he will say, you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. You can't. You can't stand there like, okay, that's good. I'm fine. You can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. And that takes me to John 11 from verse 38 up until 44. And I'm going to read it for you. It's when Lazarus was raised from the dead. Then Jesus, again groaning in himself, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it. Jesus said, "Take the stone away." And we all know the story from this on. Martha, the sister of him who was dead, said to him, "Lord, he is by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead for 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not say to you, if you would believe, you would see the glory of God?" And this again, if you believe that your season is for the glory of God, he said, I believe it, did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? All you have to do in your season is believe, and you will see the glory of God. I don't care what season you are in. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was laying. Then they took away the stone. Remember this. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you for you have heard me, and now I know that you always hear me. But because of the people who are standing here, I say this, that they may believe you sent me." Now when he had said these things, he cried a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." And he who had died came out, and he was, we know the story that he came out and he's alive. But here's the interesting fact about this. Jesus stood there. Let me just give you background before this. On their way to where they were going, the Jews wasn't very happy with Jesus, so they wanted to stone him. And in verse 16, or let's go to verse 15 in the same chapter. "And I am glad for you, for your sake, that I was not there, that you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him." Then Thomas, who is called the twin, said to his following disciples, "Let's also go, that we may die with him." So they are literally walking into a bad season. They are literally walking into what may be death for them. And they are also going to face death because someone is already dead. And sometimes when we are in a good place or even in a bad season, we have to be willing to walk into a place and know that we're going to face a few things, like maybe my own death. Maybe I'm going to have to go and face death. It's going to happen in a season, maybe. But here's the amazing part about this whole thing. Nevertheless, they know what they were walking into. They know the consequences that may have came against them. They know the season they were walking into, but they did not say, "No, I'm not going to do it. You guys can go. I'm going to go shopping. I'll make you food when you come back." No. They said, "Nevertheless, let's go." And they replied, "Let's also go." So sometimes when we are facing a bad situation, instead of saying, "Not again," or "I don't know if I can make it," why don't you just say, "Let's do this. Let's get this done. I don't have time for this, so let's face it and get it done." Why? Because if you believe, you will see the glory of God. You see, and this is the amazing part for me about this whole piece here. Jesus, before I say this, I'm sorry, I forgot this. I wanted to say this so bad. And now I forgot. They were standing in front of a rock in a bad season. Behind that rock is death, is sadness. People are crying because this guy's been dead for 4 days. Now Jesus shows up, so now they are crying again because now the sore is back again because God showed up late. What's going on? What's going to happen? Sometimes we are on our way to a good season because we are in a bad season. And sometimes there's going to be a rock in front of us, and behind that rock can be the meanest thing ever in your life. There can be death, there can be sickness, whatever you think is bad, that can be behind that rock. But here's the thing. Jesus stood there and he said to them, "Roll away the stone." Now, for those who don't know, that was Jesus' biggest miracle. He could have said, "Stone, roll away," and then poof, it would have been gone. But no, he said, "Roll away the stone." Why? Because we need to do what humanly possible. Our limit is, as humans, is to roll away the stone. That's what we can do. I cannot raise someone from the dead, but he who is in me can. So I can do what I am limited to do, roll away the stone, so that he can come and face for me what I cannot defeat on the other side. So sometimes we have to roll away the stone. I don't care how big your stone is. I don't know how heavy it is. I do care. I'm sorry, I can't not care. But sometimes we have to roll away the stone and face what is on the other side so that God can come and bring life for wherever He goes. So Jesus said to them, roll away the stone. They did what was humanly possible, and God came and do what God can only do, and that's bring life. So today or tonight, when you are in a bad season, come on, roll away your stone. Kick it literally out of your way. I don't care how big your fear is on the other side of. I don't care. That guy can be dead for 20 years. I don't care. Nothing is greater than my God. So today, I want to encourage you to do what you are humanly possible to do in your season. Do your best. Do your limit. For He who is in us will go and do the rest for you. He will carry you when you cannot walk. How many times do we read that where there was people that could not have walked, Jesus said to him, get up and walk. That's all you need to do, is get up and walk. Roll away your stone. Take on whatever is in front of you. For your season is there to glorify Him. And as soon as we get up and get after it, God who is behind us will get after it as well. So when we are being tested, be tested with God. I needed to open this a while ago. Don't put yourself in a position you are not built for. So that when your limit comes, you will not be broken because you were at a wrong place at the wrong time. And may we never forget. I used to watch Tom and Jerry when I was small. And I always said, I want to be Jerry. I want to be Jerry. Now when I got big, I'm like, I don't want to be Jerry. That guy is small. Sometimes our worst fears can be Tom, that is big. And sometimes our worst fears can be Jerry, the little one. I don't know if you watch, I watch a lot of episodes, and in one episode, he got something to drink. They pour something in there, and he's this small, but it takes that cat on his tail, and he's like, bah! Watch Avengers. He was like Hulk with Loki, you know? It's not about the size. It's about what you allow in your size that matters. I am small, and I am limited. But my God's not limited. And your test is an open book test. Always, always remember this. Can I pray for you? Lord, my biggest prayer tonight, Lord, is may we never forget how big our God is. May we never limit our God by the limits that we have. But may we glorify you from our limit forevermore, because you are not limited. And I know, Lord, when you speak, it will happen. And Lord, when I can't fight, you will fight for me. We may be a small David, but you will use us bigger than Goliath. We will walk as small as we are, but when people see us, they will see an endless God through us. And Lord, the seasons that we have, may it glorify you in every way. In the name of Jesus. Amen.